You're watching Chick-Fil-A Overtime with me, Corey Miller, on WACH Fox. Good evening. Thanks again for staying up late with us. This is the Chick-Fil-A Overtime. I'm Corey Miller, the pastor of Payne. I'm joined by the co-host, South Carolina Varsity. I like it. SC, South Carolina, same thing. Jim Baxter with the Baxter Blitz. You can find him in the state paper. You can find him a little bit everywhere. No telling where you're going to find this guy. You roam the city,
anywhere
the state.
There's a football.
There's a football camp, football team, football players. You're going to see this guy. Speaking of the summer, you know, we talk about the dog days of summer, Jim, and really you can't do anything with pads on. You can't do really no physical contact. You got your lifting. You got the team going to these camps, you know, 7-on-7 camps, all kind of camps, and they kind of making up camps amongst one another. Schools kind of go play schools. And I've been seeing on Twitter and on social media a lot of excitement. Coaches get excited about winning 7-on-7s. I'm not buying that just yet.
No, I'm not either. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and I think that, you know, when you start talking about 7-on-7, I mean, I think it does some good things for your team. I mean, it enables your quarterbacks and receivers to get their timing down. It enables you to look and see what you've got in terms of talent coming back and evaluate the kids that you've got that maybe weren't on the depth chart last year. But I think it does some bad things too. I think, you know, from a defensive standpoint, I think that it conditions your linebackers to drop quicker. I mean, you know, they know there's not going to be a run and passing league, so they're dropping quicker. The other thing that I don't like about it is your receivers don't have a fear. They know they're not going to get hit, so they go up and get the ball. And I think that makes a difference when you strap the pads on in August.
Makes a huge difference. I never really liked 7-on-7 all the years I played sports, and even we're in the pros, you know, receivers talk smack, tight ends talk smack, the backs talk smack. You know why? Because you got a quarterback doing this right here. Just, you know, a little half roll outside, toss it out to a receiver. Oh, yeah, you got a touchdown, and the guys want to get excited about it. But here's the thing. You don't have a pass rush. You don't have that big 6'5" guy with the length that's getting in that passing window. So it's easy to throw passes. It's easy to complete passes. But I get why they're doing it. You still got to run your routes. You know, there's a sense of timing, Jim. And for the secondary guys, it helps you. Now, here's where I think it does help a secondary guy, because if you can cover in 7-on-7, I mean, if you can get in right position, then when the live bullets hit with the pass rush and things like that, I think, you know, guys can play a little bit faster.
Well, I think they can. I don't know that you see a lot of the things in 7-on-7 that you're going to see in the regular season. I don't think that there are schools out there that don't use 7-on-7 to install their offense. They actually run a 7-on-7 offense, if you will, because they're all about winning these 7-on-7 tournaments.
Yeah, because I was talking to Steve Tannehill at the Justin Bethel, Patrick Davis golf tournament yesterday. You know, he had to get back to Union, and he was like saying he was struggling in 7-on-7. One thing that struck me, he goes, "We haven't won a 7-on-7." And I said, "Coach," I was like, you know, it don't really matter. You know, you don't have to win 7-on-7s right now. You win the 11-on-11s when you got full pads on. But at the end of the day, it's good practice. You get the kids out there in the heat. You get conditioning. And, you know, Stepp and Batesburg and some others out there, Ben Lippen, they went at it today, early on today, the little 7-on-7. Here's Coach Stepp, what he had to say after the practice.
And get more used to the way we do things offensively and defensively is good for these kids. So excited to get them out here. You know, we talk about every time we get together we want to get better. I feel like we've done that today. We've competed well, so we're looking forward to the playoff rounds here.
Well, they're going to be a good team. We project election to be a really good team to bounce back from the subpar season that they had last year. Now, Irmo's another team that we talked about. Their problems to me last year, Jim, was really the trenches, but they had a nice 7-on-7 at their place the other day. But you see a little bit of contact. It's not real contact, a little bit of love bumping, I like to call it.
Yeah, this is a different Irmo team. I mean, they've got a different attitude. They've got some athletes that can move those chains on the offensive side of the football. They seem to be quicker, more aggressive on defense, and I like this team. Matter of fact, I released my Region 5 conference call this week, and I've got Irmo preseason #2 in that region behind Lexington.
I know you do, because that's why you saw my top 5, and I had them at #1. So I see you looking on my paper over here.
I don't even look at the poor man's top 5.
You got them at #2. But there's a guy right there, Reggie Kennedy. We know that he can turn a program around. He did it at Sumter in 1 year. Didn't do it last year for Irmo. They had some issues, but I think they got a lot of those problems fixed. And he talked about that a little bit after the 7-on-7.
It's great for all the teams to give them opportunity to work on their pass offense, to give them also opportunity to work on their pass defense. We know summer's coming to an end, and a lot of teams are ready to put the pads on, and this one final opportunity for them to go out and so participate in a 7-on-7 tournament.
All the coaches, I get it, I understand it, and I understand it's about winning and losing. At the end of the day, we can talk about, yeah, they don't have the pads on, it's not a game, but at the end of the day, you still want to win because it's competition and you're teaching your kids how to be competitive. So I get that, but if you think that's going to translate into wins during the season, I don't think so because, as you said, you know, it could hurt you a little bit. The linebackers, I can tell you, they don't have no read, no run pass read, as you said. You know, so you have to kind of retrain and relearn when things fire back up.
Especially when you're doing this from April to July, and you condition those guys to play like that for 3 or 4 months before you put the pads on.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun time. You can tell we can't wait for that to happen because camp probably not too far away. Less than a month they're going to be in camp, and they're going to be some scrimmages, and then now we'll find out who's going to be who and we can separate a little bit because when you get the pads on, it separates. I don't know about you, but I saw Jim growing up, you know, guys were shorts and T-shirt All-Americans. Well, they look great. But when they put those pads on that helmet,
that's a different story. I call them shorts warriors.
Yeah, no, those shorts and T-shirts, All-Americans. Now, when we come back, we're going to look at something a little bit different here. We're going to talk about recruiting and how that works during the summer. A lot of guys in camp, there were guys like Jim Baxter doing a lot of different things. We're going to talk recruiting, and I'm going to reveal what I think it takes for a high school athlete to get recruited. That's all coming up next, right here on the Chick-Fil-A Overtime. You're watching Chick-Fil-A Overtime with me, Corey Miller, on WACH Fox. And we're back, Corey Miller alongside Jim Baxter of SCVarsity.com, and we got you covered with the 7-on-7. We saw guys, a lot of teams are doing it. We've covered several of those practices, and you'll see more of those in the upcoming shows. But now I want to talk about the summer, Jim, as it pertains to young athletes, young kids trying to be seen, trying to get recruited, trying to get better. I mean, trying to get bigger, stronger, faster, working on their footwork, working on route running, even position training, which you know a lot about because you do these things. And, of course, last week you had a camp over at your place, over at BC. And just talk about that, how some of these kids are using this time to try to enhance their recruiting reel, if you will.
Well, I think, you know, these days you've got to get in front of the college coaches. And the coaches want you on their campus. They want to see you in their camps. They want to take a look at you and eyeball you. They can see you on the film. And we talked about this off air. You know, you got to have film, but they want to eyeball you. They want to see you in person and make sure that you are, you know, what they think you are before they pull the trigger on an offer. And, you know, one of the things that we do with our camps at scvarsity.com and QB1 is, you know, we try to simulate what these kids are going to see when they go to the college camps. We want them to be prepared to perform in front of that college coach. So a lot of the drills and a lot of the instruction that you see at our camps is actually preparing those kids for those camps. But it's important. Nowadays, the kids have got to go to camps. You got to go to the one-day evaluation camps and be seen in front of the coaches. Kids always ask me, parents always ask me, what do we need to do? Well, you got to get in front of the college coaches. And here's, you know, some footage from our OLDL1 camp and QB1 camp last weekend. And that's one of the things that we stress to these kids is make sure that you're doing it right here because you're going to have to do it when you go get in front of the college coaches.
Well, you're going to get these camps, what you're doing, you know, with the technique. You can see there a little one-on-one with the O-line and the D-line right there. You can see the offensive lineman working footwork. This drill is based on helping linemen try to move laterally because you're going to get those athletic defensive ends. So these are good things that you're right that those guys that have the opportunity now, they have the college camps that these kids can go to and participate. Then there are the ones that are the recruiting camps, like South Carolina has the, you know, the top recruits come into their camp. So, you know, when people ask me this, ask you this, how can my son be seen? I want you to just real quickly talk about that kid that's not on the radar, that's not getting recruited, but his parents sometimes probably don't realize it, not good enough to play college, but in their mind they think maybe their kid is good enough. But how can you help that kid that's maybe borderline or underneath the line of trying to maybe get some type of attention?
Well, I think the first thing that you have to do from a parent standpoint, and if you're the one that's actually trying to help that young man, is you got to be honest with them. I mean, you've got to be honest with yourself. You know, what level of football am I capable of playing at? And for some kids, you know, their dream is to run down the hill at Clemson or to come out to 2001 at Williams-Brice Stadium, and they may be a player that could play, but maybe at the Division II level. You've got to identify the level you can play at And those are the schools that you need to target in terms of getting your information, getting your film out, contacting those schools, being proactive in your recruiting. A lot of times the coach is not going to be able to help every kid on his team. That they don't have time.
Right.
A lot of them are good at that, but you've got to be proactive in your recruiting and get out there and talk to the coaches and contact them and get to the camps at the schools yourself.
Yeah, no doubt about it, as I like to say. But now, here are my tools, if you will. If you want to get recruited, here's what I think you got to do. Let's go to the full screen here. Number one, hey, you got to have some size and measurables. I mean, if you're tall enough, you're big enough, you're fast enough, yeah, maybe you get seen. But one thing I know coaches talk about is measurables. Now, you can't make a guy taller. And they look at length. Length is a big thing today. If you're 5'8" and trying to play Division I college football, it's probably not going to happen. And if you can't get taller, it's not going to work. And you got to try to define a position. I mean, what are you? I mean, in high school, yeah, guys change all the time when you get to college. But if you can just figure out what position you are as a player, it's going to help, I think, a great deal. Number three, summer camps you talked about, whether it be team-oriented, individual camp, like going to something like Jim Baxter has at QB1, O-line, D-line. Go to those camps and then go to a college camp so coaches can see you. Because sometimes they're looking at another guy, your teammate, who is a Division I prospect, but now you can be seen. Go with him to a camp so coaches can see you. And then here's the most important one in my book. A coach always told me, Jim, the big guy in the sky don't lie. You have to be able to play. I mean, you can't live a pipe dream. I mean, yeah, everybody wants to play. Everybody wants to be recruited. But at the end of the day, when coaches turn on the film, or if you send me a tape and say, take a look at my son, as you said, I'm going to be honest with you. I will say, hey, one, he's too short. I don't think he can be 6'3", or he's slow. He don't have good feet. You know, some of the things you can work on. Footwork, you can work on speed, you can work on. There's a lot of guys out there training kids, making good money, trying to, I think, sometimes sell a pipe dream to a kid, to be honest with you. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have the size, you don't have the athleticism, and if you can't play, then, I mean, you might play hard, but if you can't play, you're not going to be able to get that scholarship. And like you said, another key thing is accepting where you are. If you're a Gardner Webb guy or Elon College guy and you think you may want to run down the hill, well, it's probably just not going to happen for you. So there you go.
And making sure you're good on the entire film too.
Yeah.
Not just for the highlights.
Yeah.
There's more. I'll look at the highlights, know I like you, but I want to see the whole film.
Yeah. What's that thing they got now? The highlight reel you can go
huddle.
to? The huddle, yes. I'm going to give you my 8 best plays in 3 years, and that's going to get me a scholarship. All right, when we come back, we're going to reveal the top 2A teams here in the Midlands. Let's see if the Baxter and I disagree with who's the best. That's all coming up after the break. You're watching Chick-Fil-A Overtime with me, Corey Miller, on Watch Fox. Welcome back. It's that time to release now the 2A teams, the top 2A teams in the Midlands. And, of course, I know Jim and I always we have like-minded picks sometimes, but his might be in the wrong place here or there. But we'll look at those.
Yours look like mine when I released mine first, and then you copying them over there.
Oh, boy, so we'll look at those here in just a moment. But, again, we talked 7-on-7 early on in the show. And one of the teams that I'm really intrigued by is Batesboro-Leesville. I think they're a good football team. And I have bad memories when you talk Batesboro-Leesville because back in when I was playing high school for the Pageland Central Eagles, we played them in the playoffs. And it was amazing. It was sunny and about 85 degrees when we left Pageland, but somehow there was a thunderstorm in Batesboro-Leesville, and the field was soaking wet. And I found out today that they did wet the field because they were afraid of our speed. So we'll get into that in another conversation. But here's our new head coach, not new, he's been there a couple of years after Dr. Jerry Brown left to go to Spring Valley. Perry Woolbright talked about his Batesboro-Leesville team.
We've gotten a lot better this summer, and our speed and things like that. We're going to be a smaller team, so we're going to have to play fast. So we've really been working on that, playing fast and playing intense. And those are things we really worked on this spring and throughout the summer. We lost some skilled guys on offense, receivers. We lost our quarterback, so we got 2 guys vying for that position. So that's kind of a big spot on offense. We got to find some guys, and we got some receivers stepping up defensively. We got most of them guys back. We lost a couple safeties that were pretty good guys and outside linebackers. But we've got some young guys that stepped up in those positions. But once those skilled guys get in, that's a good thing about this. They're getting a lot of reps in the passing game this summer, and that's really helped them get better there.
Perry Woolbright. It's a good-looking team. Good moves by that back out there.
That bus will roll as long as Terrence Wilson stays healthy.
Yeah, he need to learn how to break down and move his feet, slide your feet. Little things that, they need to teach these guys about tackling in space right there. Now, our top 5 teams in 2A in the Midlands. Take it away, Mr. Baxter.
So you want to see the correct poll
Yeah,
first?
as you would say.
All right, we'll look at Jim Baxter's picks first. Number 1 in 2A in the Midlands area, I've got Newberry. I think Yafari Wirtz may be one of the best 2A players in the state at quarterback, and Phil Strickland will have that team ready to play. Very close, Fairfield Central. You could flip these teams 1 and 2. It wouldn't matter to me. I wouldn't argue either way. I think Fairfield Central is going to have a very strong football team again this year. Batesburg-Leesville sitting at number 3. I think, as long as Terrence Wilson's healthy, that team is a contender. Pelion, listen, they're going to be better this year. I like Dan Holland, their new coach. He's doing some good things. They've got some good athletes over there, and I think Pelion is going to be a lot better product on the football field this year. And Keenan at number 5, of course, they played in the state title game last year. A little bit of a drop-off this year. Coaching change over there. They lost their quarterback, transferred. Marco Ziegler's actually headed over to Ridgeview High School from what I understand. And so I think Keenan, but they're still in this top 5 mix.
I mean, that is really nice teams there. It really is. But as I said, you do confuse the order most of the time.
Yeah,
Let's go to the POP pick, shall we? Number 1, as you said, and you even said it out of your own mouth, it don't matter to you. Well, Fairfield Central is the best team in 2A football. Coach Dominic Davis, all they do is, like that song says, is win. They find a way to get it done. They are flooded with athletes. They're going to be the best team here in the Midlands. Number 2, Batesburg-Leesville. I like what Coach Wilbright was saying. They moved around nicely today over at Lexington in the 7-on-7, and they've always been a tough 2A team, and I know about them. As I said, I played them even in the playoffs being at Payson. And number 3, yes, Newberry. I like them, a good team last year. They'll be back. Once again, Phil Strickland is an excellent football coach. I will put him up against anybody in the state as far as a football mind. I like what he's doing up there in Newberry. Number 4 is Keenan. Quinn McCullum was out as a coach. It's a team that's got a lot of talent. They lost, as you said, a couple players here and there, but I do like Charlie Richards. I like what he was saying when we saw him in the spring. I watched him run around, and I think they're going to be a good team. And number 5 is Pelion. They got a new coach. They're the new kids on the block. Therefore, you should have had them at number 5. There's no way they should have been in front of anybody else on that list.
Look at
Jim.
the end of the season.
No, I'm talking about now. We're not at the end of the season. They're at number 5, new coach, but I do like they have Willie Scott, former Gamecock tight end, as an assistant coach over there. And he told me up at a charity function they're going to be pretty good. So, therefore, I put them at number 5. There you go. Well, that's going to do it for our 2A picks. Of course, next week we'll look at Skeezer, some of the best teams in Skeezer. When we come back, we'll talk to the folks from Chick-Fil-A, our sponsor, the reason why Chick-Fil-A Overtime is here. All this nice set, we thank those folks for that, and the reason why we got great food and great sweet tea. We'll talk to the folks from Chick-Fil-A after the break. You're watching Chick-Fil-A Overtime with me, Corey Miller, on Watch Fox. And welcome back to Chick-Fil-A Overtime. Corey Miller, the Pastor Payne, here with you. Now joined by a special guest, Britt Sims of Chick-fil-A, owner-operator. Good to see you.
Hey, good to see you.
Thanks for being on the set. Yeah.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
We're so blessed today. Earlier, we had lunch. You guys, you take care of us. I'm a Chick-fil-A fan. I got my sweet tea, as you can see right here. But we had a great party today, a great time, and we just so appreciate your partnership. Just talk about what it means, you guys partnering with us in high school sports and all of that.
Absolutely. Well, it's a thrill to be here. Thank you for having us.
Yes.
As a brand of Chick-fil-A and partnering with Watch Fox, it's just a great partnership to be here with you. We are huge advocates of the school system and supporting our schools in our area, and so to be able to be a part of a show who really highlights and really focuses on these high school athletes from a community perspective is such an honor and a pleasure. So we are just looking for great ways to connect with our guests and our fans and to really highlight these students. So it's a pleasure to be a part
Well,
of
you
it.
guys just do such a great job with the stores. We all love Chick-fil-A here from the morning show. Watch Fox News at 10, then I'll show with the overtime. Of course, my tea and the ice cream. And now you tell me about something nice you have.
Yes,
Tell me about that lemonade.
the frosted lemonade.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You've got to go get you one after the
going.
show
I'm
tonight.
going.
Absolutely. Well, we frosted lemonade. It's our delicious ice cream and our lemonade that comes together and it's just magic. So it's the perfect summertime treat. So
I'm looking forward to it. If it's better than my sweet tea, then I'm like, wow, that's a must. But we want to say thank you so much though to you and everybody that's a part of this, and you make this happen. I mean, we had a vision with this high school show for such a long time, and high school sports is so awesome and so great, you know, getting involved with it. And I know you guys have been around and doing it for a long time, even with the basketball that comes here later on.
Absolutely.
You guys do such a great job just, you know, being a part of high school sports, and we really want to say thank you so much. And the Cows have been here and hanging out. Me and the Cow in the commercial together. I'm going to bring him on set here in just a minute. He makes me look small. That's what I love, somebody that can make me look small. But are you excited about football season at high school?
So excited, absolutely. All of the operators, you know, we have many stores in the area, and every single one of us are very involved with the high schools in our communities, and so we're out at the football games. The Cows will be out there, and just having a big time, and also leading us into the fall with basketball season as well. So we're very excited.
Well, I know all the kids love it. Of course, they hit those Chick-Fil-A's and chicken sandwich. I know my boys are always like, Dad, we got to hit Chick-fil-A, and I'm a big fan as well. I want to bring in the Cow now because you can see those folks early on today having a great time here on the green screen. And what do we got here? We like chicken. Yes, we do. Can we do this? We like chicken. Yes, we do. We like chicken. How about you? We love chicken. Yeah, we love Chick-fil-A. We love you guys being a part of what we're doing and being a part of our vision. It's going to be a great time. And of course, going into football season, we're going to get into the X's and O's. We're going to have coaches on the sets, cheerleaders, bands. We want to celebrate all the folks, the kids, the families in high school sports. And definitely, we thank you so much, all the owners and operators of Chick-fil-A, the sponsorship and what you're doing to help us, you know, share our vision and be a part of the community. It's been such a great time. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. It's our pleasure. We look forward to it very much.
And we didn't really coordinate our outfits. We were matching.
We are.
I just got to get you the Chick-fil-A logo
I need it.
Yours.
That's right.
You ready for football season, Ms. Cal? Let's do it. Let's do it. Well, that's going to do it for Chick-fil-A Overtime here on this Thursday. Next week is Skeeza, our top 5 teams in Skeeza. That's all coming up next week. Have a great night, and we'll see you on next week.